This is Bowling Beyond 200, brought to you by Lane1Bowling.com.
Well, this is Bowling Beyond 200, and we have on the phone with us Richie Sposato, if I said that right, I hope.
Yes, that's correct, John.
Good. And Richie, how are you today?
I'm fine, thank you. And you?
I'm doing well. This is our inaugural podcast, so we thought we'd start out with everyone's favorite social media poster, and
Right.
Of course, the owner of Lane Number One Bowling, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Well, tell us a little about yourself, or Lane Number One, if I'm saying that right.
Yes. Well, back in the day, I used to be a pretty decent bowler and ran a pro shop. And I, at one point, came up with the idea for, a new core for a bowling ball. And I, penciled out this diamond shape. And at the time, I was pretty much drilling all hammer balls, so they were the two-piece ball of choice, back in the mid-'80s. And, this was kind of modeled off of that. And, the diamond core generates 20% more energy than any other shape. So you're going to spins faster, and it creates more gyroscopic inertia and gives you more hitting power.
That was was that hammer in the Fab Ball days, or is that hammer? I don't remember who owned it after Fab Ball did. There was a time in between there, right?
What was that again, John?
On the hammer itself, was that the Fab Ball hammer, or?
Yes, Fab Ball. That was Dennis Baldwin. He was involved in the plant down in Baltimore, and there was a few other people involved. And John Wonders, I believe, was one of the original owners of Fab-Ball, who is now the owner of Visionary.
Right. I've talked to Jason himself a few times with Visionary. But you said you've come up with 20% more inertia on the diamond core. I see you have a few other diamond cores with the one's twisted and one has a cut-off top, I believe.
Right. Well, we have many different variations, of the standard original diamond. And that's to kind of keep up with the competition. They utilize different shapes, but we can kind of emulate those shapes, or even make them better. But we're always starting with the diamond as our base engine.
I myself have thrown the Lady Buzzsaw one. That's your latest release, if I'm correct on that, right?
Yes.
And the biggest I've seen with the Lady Buzzsaw is I've actually fewer 10 pins than with my other equipment, which was in my case is a great thing, because 10 pins is like my nemesis out there here locally.
Well, it's a lot of people's nemesis. Yeah, and the reason why you get less 10 pins is because the diamond shape creates more energy. So as it's revving up down the lane, it actually gets heavier, makes the ball heavier. If you're using a 15-pound ball, it'll turn it into maybe like a 16-pound ball. So when it goes through the pins, it's going to deflect less, leaving you less 10 pins.
Right.
And because the core is symmetrical, it gives you a smooth, roll. It gives you more control, so it's easier to control with less deflection. And most of the other companies, they base their ball reaction off skid flip.
Right. And
if you don't hit the skid and the flip at the correct time, then the ball is going to skid too much, and maybe leaving you plaque 10s or ringing 10s, or if it, flips too hard, you're going to leave 4 pins or go through the nose. So
right.
You're not going to get as consistent reaction off of those types of ball motions.
Stone 7 or Stone 9. I leave the back row half the night sometimes, but I really enjoy throwing the Lady Buzzsaw myself. That's a nice addition to my arsenal. Unfortunately, sometimes they don't put enough oil on the lanes here locally to get a good read on it from time to time. I do like throwing it. But that was the issue I wanted to come up with. lane patterns. We've talked about that in our chats online a few times, and I know that's the biggest I know but, problem.
Well,
The problem nowadays is the lane patterns. I think.
well, right. And today, there's so many different, lane patterns, that makes your ball react differently, and I think it's really gotten out of hand, and people are getting frustrated. They go to a tournament, and they don't have a look, they don't have the right ball. So I've kind of come up with this, system of the A game, B game, and C game. Lane condition, which basically it's the same 5-5 template, just different distances.
Right.
And what this is going to do is standardize, the bowling world, standardize lane conditions. So now when you go practice, you're practicing on the same condition. You go to a tournament, you're bowling on the same condition, you're coming off a league. And, if everybody's bowling on the same condition, then, it's going to give you, a better judge, of the talent. Who's better than the next person, because everybody's bowling on the same condition. And, it's going to help the handicap system also. So
that's what I see too on these tournaments I've been to. I recently did one here locally on the Saints pattern, and it was, if you were slow, it's going right. If you're speed up, it's you got to blow past the break point, and it was just not fun anymore with some of these patterns. It's, having to carry I had to have a caddy to carry half the stuff I've got just on one pattern. I'll hire one of the kids here to carry my stuff to tournament. I think. 6, 7, 8
well, that's
balls.
the thing too, is when you have all these different lane conditions, you need many different bowling balls. At least that's the thought. And it makes it difficult to travel, and makes it more expensive to travel and go to tournaments. And it's tough, with the way the economy is, for everybody to be on an equal level or have the same amount of bowling balls. It's just not going to happen. So if we can standardize the lane conditions that still keeps ball reaction the way people have known it to be. You move inside, the ball hooks less. You move outside, the ball hooks more. Okay, now all we have to do is just get people to start bowling on it, and the best bowlers are going to be the best bowlers. There's no need to change the lane condition.
Right, who can make the shot's going to be the one that can score.
Right.
But well, to me, it's just, I think there's how many megabytes of lane patterns at Kegel on their website, and it's just incredible. It's mind-boggling. If I'm not a staffer on a bowling ball company, I don't have the equipment to hit a pattern on any specific day. It seems like if I don't have an arsenal behind me or a ball rep behind me or.
And even it's hard to even get good, on all those patterns, because how often do you get to practice on them, and then all of a sudden they come up with a new one. So it's tough to even get good on these patterns because you're not seeing them every day.
No. We're seeing the typical house shot, which is anywhere from Bourbon Street, 5-5, maybe a little bit of blend, but that's pretty much the typical house shot we're going to see here locally. We're not going to see a pattern unless we have a special tournament company that comes in. But as I said, practicing, forget it. The proprietor won't put it out because it's not fiscally responsible for him to put the pattern out for 1 or 2 people to practice on it. You'd have to charge $10 a game for him to do that.
Right.
What you said with your patterns, ABC patterns, it could be used in league play. Am I correct?
Right. Yes. There's different distances, so the beginners would more likely use the C game, which is a shorter pattern, so they'll see the ball hook a little bit, because that keeps people interested when they see the ball hook. And then as they graduate and get better, then we lengthen out the conditioners out to 40 feet for the B game, which would be kind of good for your league bowlers. And then for your scratch leagues, tournaments, professional level, we go out to 45 feet, and that's the A game, because you have to be on your A game to score.
Oh, there you go. And that explains the ABC game.
Yes.
Let's talk about professional level. You said the A game. I don't have the pattern graph in front of me, but let's compare A game to say. Well, we just saw the Cheetah championship on TV, and hear that they've done some revamp on the Cheetah. So how would that compare to something like Cheetah or any of the pro patterns that they're putting out there, the animal stuff?
Well, this would be probably more similar to the cheetah pattern, where the outsides are dry, but it is longer, and there's oil in the middle. But on professional level, you really, in order to be good, at least back in the day, the good bowlers were the ones that can bowl on more oil. You had to learn to stay behind the ball, keep a strong wrist position, and the more oil on the lane there was, the tougher it was for the beginner bowlers. It's kind of like having oil on the lane, the ball slides, it goes straight. It goes faster down the lane. It's kind of similar to golf when the greens on the PGA tours are really fast. So
right.
You just tap the ball and the ball runs a long ways.
Right.
And right now on the professional bowlers tour, the lanes are kind of dry and you can throw it as hard as you want. So to me, they have their philosophy backwards. The lanes should be tighter, make it more difficult to hook the ball.
Well, to be on a professional level, it should be a shot maker, in my opinion, as well. You shouldn't have to, just throw the ball as hard as you can and straight, and then there's a strike.
Right. I mean, you need speed control. You'll be able to control your speed. You can't just throw it, as hard as you want, because if you do, it should slide farther, slide past that pin, or leave a weak 10. So definitely, a tighter lane condition gives you less area to play with. So you have to be a shot maker, and it's not just hitting your mark on the lane. It's getting to the foul line the same way and having the ball feel the same way coming off your hand. Okay, so if you can get to the line and have the ball come off your hand feeling the same way, you'll be able to miss a board left or a board right, and still be able to strike. That's how you create your area, by having a little bit of a touch at the foul line.
And we're also looking at the let's say two-handers like Osku and guys like
Belmonte.
Belmonte. Drawing a blank here. What's your opinion on them destroying lane patterns? I know that's been a big issue with the professionals themselves.
Two-handers, or are you just talking about in general, just destroying the patterns to create a shot for themselves?
In general, the two-handers, they say, are destroying or they wreck the patterns.
Well, I don't know if the two-handers are wrecking the patterns. I wouldn't say that, because there's many bowlers that use a thumb hole that put just as many revs on the ball as a two-hander.
Or like Robert Smith, say.
Like Robert Smith and Rudy Revs back in the day, and Ken Samard. I mean, there's a lot of good bowlers out there that can rev it as much as two-handers. But the two hands gives you a little bit more control. And you don't have to worry about thumb issues, being a two-hander. But using two hands, some people say it's maybe not quite bowling, and I can almost agree with that. And one part of me says, well, nobody's stopping you from doing it, so just go do it. But then, another part of me, says, well, traditionally, you have to throw the ball with one hand, one arm.
One arm.
So it's kind of like maybe you can equate it to, the pro golf tour where they had the long putters, and that really started to take over the game. But a lot of people thought that, using these long putters and anchoring them on your body was maybe, giving people too much of an advantage, or kind of, I wouldn't say cheating, but
I've heard that.
Not really playing the game, with the integrity that, it started with. So, in the bowling world, it's kind of like the same thing is happening. These two-handers are starting to become prevalent, and I'm not sure if it's really good for the game and the traditionalists. So, what they could do is, they can still make a rule like they did in golf, where you can still bowl no thumb, but you have to use one hand. So, if they made a rule where you can only have one hand on the ball during the downswing, then I think,
Old Roy's bowling ball cleaner. Owners are Don Saggart and Dwayne Saggart. They make two products. One is called Early Shift, which is ideal for fresh oil conditions, and Late Shift, perfect for drier lane conditions.
This is Peter Nicosia. I just wanted to say hi. I'm a follower of John Baker on Facebook. Peter Nicosia from Rochester, New York.
Hey, Peter.
I'm an avid bowler. I've been bowling my whole life.
Oh, you're on, but this is Bowling Beyond 200. This is our inaugural podcast, so you're gonna be on a select group. You'll be one of our first caller. So we're glad to have you on.
Cool. I actually
have you on, Peter, right?
I've done
It's Peter, right?
That's awesome. Yeah, Peter. I've done podcasts before. Check it out. I figured it must have been bowling related. So if it's something that I like and can relate to, then I'd love to be a part of it.
Well, it's nice to have you aboard, Peter.
Well, we were just, I don't know if you heard part of it. We were speaking about two-handers on the PBA Tour. I've got some really bad background. There we go. That's better. We were speaking about the PBA Tour and the two-handers. I don't know if you have an opinion on that, Peter. We were just in the middle of that. I don't know if you heard any of that.
Yeah, I don't really know what to take as far as a stance on that. I think, I think it's fair because you got guys like Jason Belmonte who's just tearing it up, and he's got his own little style, and people are starting to emulate him, and I think it's I don't think there's anything wrong with it if people want to adopt that style and try it, because I don't really think that style is easy to do. I mean, it helps your rev rate and stuff, but then when it comes to picking spares, I don't know. That's my 2 cents. I think that it doesn't really give you an advantage when it comes to picking spares.
Well, it's definitely not easy to do to bowl two hands. I mean, people do make it look easy, but it's definitely not easy.
I have no trouble doing it one-handed rather than try two hands. It took me 30 years to even get near 200, and I tried to do a two-handed one time and nearly put myself on the lane instead of the ball. So it's not easy. It's like you say, to make it look easy, but it's by no means is it easy.
Right. I mean, I still think personally, for tradition, that bowling should be played with, one hand, one arm. It looks better to me also, if you're watching from a crowd. I mean, it just, looks better when you're swinging the ball with, one arm and style-wise. And I think it's, if it looks better, it's going to make it more attractive and, promote the sport better.
I want to touch on that. We talked about promoting the sport, and I don't know if you've seen the Facebook post, and I know you posted recently about the lofting issue, and that was on this U.S. Open, and to me that was just, it's ridiculous. I mean, go through 30 feet down a lane with the ball flying. I mean, where does that?
Yeah.
When did that? Excuse me. Come up. I mean, last time I did that in a bowling center, I was asked to leave because they had just cut the lanes, and I had somebody shoot the ball. Probably went 10 feet out there, and she said, you're out. You're gone. And now they can throw it 30 feet down the lane past the arrows and continue to bowl.
Right. That's not really bowling. In my opinion, that's throwing the ball, and and the only reason why they're doing that is because the lane condition is so bad, or the heads are so dry. There's no oil there to make the ball slide. So it's a function of bad lane conditions.
Bad lane conditions, or is that poor not poor maintenance, but poor planning by PBA themselves? And they're doing double burns on these squads, and to me, double burn, well, it's kind of ridiculous. Double burn in this day and age with all the equipment they've got and the lanes themselves. It's utterly ridiculous.
I don't know why everybody needs so much help hooking the ball. I mean, the ball's hooked plenty. We don't need to make them hook anymore. We need to make them hook less. We need to, get rid of dull balls, dull surface balls. I mean, growing up, there was never a dull ball. They were hard rubber, plastic, whatever it was. And then all of a sudden, it creeped into the game, dull balls with the LT48.
That's right, the rubber ball. That's right. I remember that. We still have Peter on there?
Yeah, I had to just jump off real quick, but I'm back. I'm just in the middle of wrapping presents, and I didn't have too much time, but I wanted to have, some time while I had it to get on and talk with you guys. I came from, bowling since the 80s, and I think we definitely do need more as far as awareness and people promoting the sport to get more memberships and more people involved and more participation, because I definitely have seen over the years how a lot of lanes have shut down, and there's just less and less it seems like people that are still involved in the sport.
Right. A lot of people are quitting. Professional bowlers can't make a living bowling, so there's no carrot at the top for people to stay in the game. And I think the USBC is not focusing everything on the right things. They want to get the youth involved and get more youth bowling, but if they don't stay in the game, when they get to college, then there's nothing left for them afterwards. What good is it to promote youth bowling when they're going to just drop out? So if we can retain the bowlers after college and make it so it's worthwhile to become a professional bowler and earn a good living, then I would think that you'll get more youth wanting to be bowlers and stay in the game.
Well, I remember back in when I was growing up in the late 70s, 80s, we'd actually stand in line at the now defunct Wonder Bowl Anaheim to watch the professionals, just to go and get into the show. And at any time we were waiting for any pro to come out and have an autograph on any piece of paper we had. That was the biggest thing in February, was going to that tournament. And now it's not even worth it anymore. But back then it was great. Seeing somebody and seeing a glimpse of one of them.
Right.
But now
yeah, it's just hard to keep bowlers bowling, and for one, it's not fun to bowl on all these different lane conditions, and you're lofting the gutter caps 30 feet on the lane. So tournament directors and the people at the top need to know that bowling has to be fun first, and then winning is a bonus.
Well, that's the difference between the USBC and we'll call it PBA, because USBC, in my opinion, USBC and PBA should be separate. I mean, there shouldn't be. PBA can do their own thing, and USBC should be wanting to get bowlers, or like say, keep the bowlers that we have now. I know that the youth is a movement, but they're ignoring anyone that's averaging, say 200 and above. They're ignoring them completely. I've had several discussions locally, and it's just, we're going to do this for the lower average bowlers, or their handicap is going to be 80, 90% or 100% of 230, and you're going to kill all the good bowlers. Again, these 160 bowlers, 150 pins handicap in these tournaments. Well, the better bowlers aren't going to bowl. They don't want to.
Right, and that's where we are right now. The industry and the bowling proprietors, they're catering, to your mediocre mid-level bowlers, trying to build them up artificially, by giving them dry lanes and, make it easy for them to hook the ball. And in the meantime, the good bowlers are quitting. So, what they're doing, they think they're trying to, keep the masses happy, but it's not working. We're losing bowlers year after year. So they have to, change directions and, focus on some things differently.
There's nothing to look forward to. If you get to a certain level, if we're not good enough to go PBA, there's really nothing to look forward to after that. After, say, 220. You go out there on tour, it's tough. I've known a few people out there, and they get killed week to week.
Right, and then if you become 220 average bowler, maybe in your town and your house, and maybe the next highest average bowler is 195 or 200, and you're 220, 225, they don't want you to bowl in the league anymore. And so now you don't have a place to bowl because, you got good, you got better, you practice, but now there's nowhere for you to bowl.
Right. I've been asked to not bowl in the league. They asked me, why are you bowling in this league? You're averaging 220. Why are you bowling in this league? Well, because it's the only thing to bowl.
Right.
It's on Tuesday and I'm here. That's why I was bowling. Other than that, there's nowhere else for a 220 average bowler to go. I've written a thing that was men's league, and I told them there's where are the real men's league? There's no men's commercials. There's no the old style, where the better bowlers used to go.
Right. There's no more scratch leagues, and they're all handicapped, and now it's just a drinking night out, good time for the boys. And before when I was growing up and bowling, I took it serious. You wanted to go out, you wanted to be the best and bowl against the best and get better. And now it's it's like it's gone.
Now they get mad at you if you bowl well.
Right.
It's ridiculous.
Or they're just helping you bowl good, by making the lanes drier and giving everybody free hooks. So.
Right. Well, I don't need that.
Who wants that?
I want to say thank you to Peter for joining us. Peter, you still there?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I love the bowling, mentality and being a part of it, and anything that I can do to contribute to build awareness and it's funny just seeing how things have changed over the years, and I like what you guys are doing, so congratulations on starting this up. And if I can come back on in the future, if I have time to join you guys, I'll definitely be a part of it.
Oh, great. We'd love to have you again. Thanks for calling in, Peter.
Thanks for having me, guys. Have a Merry Christmas. Happy holidays.
Peter, you too. Yep, Merry Christmas.
Old Roy's Bowling Ball Cleaner. Owners are Don Saggart and Dwayne Saggart. They make two products. One is called Early Ship, ideal for fresh oil conditions, and Late Ship, perfect for drier lane conditions. A 10 isn't high enough on a rating of skill of 1 to 10. Give them a try.